there is one leader in Africa whom I have admired this far. Is no other than Paul Kagame of Rwanda. He is someone whom I think is doing a good job. He has moved Rwanda forward. And right now, Rwanda is one of the best countries in Africa. They have the fastest growing economy, and the country is really making progress. If you factor in that they had a genocide just a couple of decades ago, and when you look at where they are now, you can see that a lot of things have been done, all thanks to Mr. Paul Kagame. He is an exceptional leader that the leaders of other African countries can emulate. Before we continue with this conversation, I want you guys to watch this video.
Thank you very much. My name is Ansoy from the BBC. I have a quick question for President Kagame. As chair of the Commonwealth, I wonder what your priority will be, especially in terms of upholding the values of democracy and human rights, given that there's been a lot of scrutiny on your country and the record of your government, and critics have been pointing out the number of opposition leaders and journalists who are in prison. I wonder what your leadership of this organization is going to look like in the face of that. And tied to that is also the criticisms that have been directed at your government as well over the migrants deal. They have raised questions of human rights, but also questioning whether your government, by entering this deal, allows the British government to abdicate its responsibility towards refugees.
I think checking of facts is a serious problem with the very institutions we should have relied on to inform the public, the general public, the world, about some of these facts. Or whether the facts themselves or the interpretation of some of the things that actually happen. Now, let me start with the issue of values. Who defines the values? Or who doesn't actually have values? When people talk about values sometimes, there's one part of the world that has assumed the sole responsibility and the monopoly of defining values. So the rest of us have no values. We've just to keep learning from these ones who define the values. And by the way, the danger also is, it doesn't matter how long you take learning, you will never qualify. You will just always be branded somebody who has no values or who comes from a place where there are no values. So I want to put this case clear. Those from the north who always assume where BBC comes from, who always think they are the face of values, the rest have to follow. It's a big mistake. It's not true. We have values too. We here in Rwanda, in Africa, we do. No question about it. Second, there are some of these problems we have had in our continent, in Rwanda. Those from the north who define or want to define values have been part and parcel of these problems we have been facing. Some of them have actually been the cause of the problems we face. But at the same time, like the genocide here that took place here in Rwanda, where 1 million people over were killed. Well, I remember, if your memory serves you well too, I'm not inventing anything. The debate that went on at the UN, it was like, these developed rich countries, those who define values, simply took it like, these are just Africans killing each other. These debates were in the open. But you think that is true? You think the divide that actually led to this genocide was just a creation of Rwandans, not the people from the north who actually divided this country, told people to think of themselves as belonging to one ethnic group and the other to think as belonging to another ethnic group, and therefore they should kill each other. Not only are they different, but they should kill each other. Would you believe that? Would you tell me that the 20 million people, this is documented by other people, not by me, who were killed in the Congo, were killed by other Congolese in the old days of King Leopold? And you think all that just disappeared in a moment? Then you had the savages coming over and taking over their own countries and killing each other. And then the others assume the higher ground. They are up there in the north and keep pointing fingers at those of us and think we have no values and we just are there to, we don't respect freedoms, we don't respect human rights. Sure, do you think so? BBC, you think so? You take time, you broadcast, and from morning to evening, this is literally just abusing people. You're abusing Rwandans, you're abusing Africans, values. What values do you know, my dear sister, on behalf of BBC? So, I want to assure you, there is nobody in the BBC or anywhere else thereabout who would be holding values better than we do here in Rwanda. Except if we just want to cover up the mistakes of the same people who want to define these values for us. Or really tragic mistakes of things they have caused. So when you are saying that, you may tell somebody else, people who don't have time to think or who don't have a history where they have struggled with these complications, yes, they will. But here, those of us who have faced what we did, who have gone through what we did, we take our responsibility. Of course, genocide could not have happened just on the hands of others who brought it to us. No. We, Rwandans, have a responsibility. We have our share of the blame for it. But there are others who should take responsibility for that.
Okay, my brothers and sisters. So you've heard what he said, right? And I need to say this out, right? This same question has been asked to him time and time and time again. And he keeps on giving them the same answer. But it looks like they are not satisfied. So they ask him again and again and again, which is sometimes I think is annoying, right? So most of them, like the West, they look at us like people with no values. Yes, we have problems. Yes, some of our leaders are very, very, very bad, dude. Very bad. They are. And we are facing a lot of human rights issues in Africa. That is for sure. But there are other things that we are also doing great. And for people to assume that we do not have values or we do not respect ourselves, I think is really wrong. And like he said, he made it really clear to them that they might be misunderstanding or misjudging Africa, which I think is right. Do you know how many people drown trying to cross over to Europe? Now, it's not a route that I would advise anyone to take. It's really, really risky, but people do take, and a lot of them drown. And what do the so called champion of human rights and freedom do? They look the other way. Sometimes they just push the boats back into the sea. And the one funniest thing is that when anything goes against their interests, they are forced to speak out. And sometimes they take drastic actions. When they are doing that, they don't talk about democracy, they don't talk about freedom of speech, they don't talk about liberty, they don't talk about human rights, they don't talk about it. When they are trying to get stuff from Africa, they don't talk about it. When they want to topple our government, they don't consider it human right violation. In this world, there is always equal but in everything. And when it goes against their narrative, is problem. Or when their interest is being threatened, then human right aside, liberty aside, we will fight to the end. So my brothers and sisters, I personally admire Paul Kagame for all his great efforts. If only leaders in other countries can also work hard to better up the lives of their people, that would be great. That would be so great. And I hope that other countries will put forth leaders who has the country's interests at heart and therefore is willing to fix the problems that the people are facing. So, my brothers and sisters, what do you think about Paul Kagame? Is he doing a good job, as I have mentioned? What is your take on him as a whole? Please share your thoughts and opinions with us in the comment section. Because, like always, we love hearing what you have to say. So, thank you very much and see you in the next one. Kata.